you see AI affecting prices for retailers today? And where do you see, and what have you seen as the positive outcome from it?
Yeah, so we work with a few very large retailers that wanted to use dynamic pricing. Now, dynamic pricing is it's a double-edged sword actually. As you know, if let's say I'm an retailer and I change my prices every day, and let's say it's going up and down, my consumers will say, "Hey, I'm going to come back the next day to see if it goes down. I'm going to come back the next day and see if it goes down." So there's a trust issue. So over time, retailers have figured out that one of the best ways to do dynamic pricing and to mitigate any, the trust side is discounting promotions. For example, you start implementing gradual markdowns for items that have been on the shelf for a certain period. So it could be something systematic, like if it's on the shelf for a month and down by 10%, 20% for 2 months, and so on. Having said that, I want to say that the effectiveness of AI is how effectively can it sell your full priced items. So you always got to start off there and understand what's your full price. And how's full price established? It's based on your production costs, your brand positioning, market competition. And AI can help there as well, because sometimes it's a very complex calculation. So AI can help you set your initial pricing, but it's also based on what kind of profitability you want to see in the business. So once you have your full price established, you got to get the AI to work for you to sell as much as you can of the full price. And that's merchandising too. That's what all the retailers are already doing. And I'm sure they're 100 times better than me at it. I more approach it from the standpoint of being a technologist who brings solutions into the space. But discounting and promotions are are very key to dynamic pricing. But it is also worth, you know, integrating it with your loyalty programs. So if you have certain loyal users, then can you put in a dynamic pricing for them that can actually bring the price down based on the loyalty? And finally, you have clearance sales and the last part of dynamic pricing is in case you have a buyback with a liquidator, then can you potentially use that for your unsold inventory. So um yeah, you're let, let there be light. So there's a few things, a few very interesting aspects where I've seen AI play a very interesting role. One of them is what we call perceived value, Kevin. So I gave you the example of the zodiac sign, right? So an item that was sitting on your shelf for 3 months suddenly has a higher perceived value because it's temporally more relevant. Um, and again, how do you do that for, if you have 200 SKUs, how do you do that how do you check this on a daily basis? Or if you have 5,000 SKUs, how do you do that? Um, AI can play a role there. The second is, if a product is a luxury status, then the perceived value is definitely very important. The second thing is exclusivity. If your products are beginning to sell out, and you just have a few left, then making the exclusivity becomes interesting as well. So how can you potentially play that? Um, the third actually great example is price anchoring. So you have a product, you know that can you anchor the price at something higher? And how do I establish that? You can use something called thematic curations. So you have the product start off in your thematic curation with a higher price anchor, so that as the product, you have more time on the shelf potentially to age the product out. And finally, let's say you want to do a slightly different kind of market positioning. That's also a place where you can raise prices on unsold inventory just to position it. And again, different kinds of curations, different kind of AI based inbound landing pages can actually play a role there.